Hi, everybody, and welcome to this year's adventure, which doesn't yet have a name because we have a lot of themes for the year.
Maybe we should run a contest to name our year.
So we thought we would start with Lila and Naomi's Healing Adventures.
It fits.
Yeah. And this first call is just going to be, this is what we're doing this year.
Come play.
Come play. I'm continuing to ask. I'm not really sure why.
What was that face for?
Because it's the first year it was like, I'm doing this thing. And then the second year was like, I'm doing this thing. And this year was like, oh, I'm like doing like a deeper layer of this thing.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm
How's that
excited
feeling?
in a whole different way.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it all feels the same in your body. Might as well call it excitement.
I think I'm going to throw up. Hey, I must be excited. Yeah,
Basically. My heart's racing and I'm not sure what's going on. We'll call it
I'm
excitement.
excited.
Yeah. So my theme for the year is mostly focused around nourishment.
Mm.
And I have struggled with that. So this is going to be interesting. I will share my nourishment dramas with you. And I kind of want to elaborate on that a little bit for people watching. Talking more than just about like getting my greens, which are also important and an adventure, but like creating the time to in my schedule to do oil massages for myself, taking myself to the spa and having an actual massage by a massage therapist, saying no to people for the sake of people, which is one of the things that I'm very good at. Like, oh yeah, let's do that. I don't really want to hang out with that person.
What did I just commit to? What was I thinking?
Yeah. Or yeah, sure, I'll take on that project that I don't really want to work on over the weekend. No, I'm in charge of my schedule for a reason. So those are going to be some of the challenges that I have with making sure that I am nourished this year, particularly saying no. So instead of a year of yes, this might be more like a year of no for me.
Right? Well, here's the funny thing that when you bring that up. When I spoke at the Dare to be Dino conference in October, one of the big themes in that message was, where are you saying yes that a no would serve you better? And often what I talk about when I speak about that is when we say yes to something and then we have to cancel and we have to back out, I believe that we all have the right to do that. If there's something that ends up, it is not serving us, we can decommit. There are good ways to do that and less effective ways to do that. But we get to look at, where am I being in integrity? Who am I being in integrity with? And sometimes to really be in integrity, we have to say no to things. It allows us to be in integrity with ourselves and say yes to us. And so much of the time, I think especially as women, we're the last people that we say yes to instead of the first. And so to say no elsewhere, I think the year of yes has a beautiful, and I know we're going to be talking about a year of yes through this journey. And the year of no from a place of discernment, I think is so key. How do you nourish yourself if you're unable or unwilling to say no to more
Yeah.
things?
So there's that, and then there's rediscovering what yes feels like to me if it's not a 2018 Honda Accord in that blue that looks purple. That's a yes. Or Naomi's cognac boots. Little backstory for those of you who are not familiar. I sort of turned desire off when I was 9. After 2 years of begging my mom for me to come live with her. And hearing, no, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. No, I don't have money issues, by the way. Um, I don't anymore. I healed that, but what an adventure. Um, so after 2 solid years of hearing no, I just decided to stop wanting things. And for me, sort of the last 7 years have been embodying a willingness to desire again. And now getting clear on what that feels like and what that looks like, what that sounds like. So that's going to be part of this year.
I think that's awesome and pertinent. I have a sneaking suspicion, I'm making this up, and there's no, studies or facts or figures to back it, but I might make a few of those up too, some numbers. 98%, 96.3% of people in the US, especially women, and maybe around the world, especially moms, and this is coming from a woman who has no kids, I own plants, there is that forgetting. We forget to allow ourselves the time to desire what we want because we do put everything and everyone else first, or because, like in your situation where you learned to turn it off because the experiences in your life told you it's not worth it, or maybe somebody's had an experience where what it taught them is that they don't deserve to desire, or whatever it is. But we forget how, and we forget why it's important. I think that's huge. For me, there's an underlying, I don't deserve it story that has been long lasting that I've been working on and peeling back the layers, and new layers have shown up, and it's like, oh, thought I was done with that. So I think this year that will be a big part of the conversation. Like you're talking about, what does that feel like? Where how do I feel that in my body? And what value do I put on that? Or how am I devaluing it? So.
I'm taking notes as usual.
that extreme, one of the things that Lila and I had talked about when we were talking about what is this year going to be, because it's, yes, there's a continuation of the asking. And this year's unfolding a little bit differently. And we talked about extreme self-care and how that plays a role. And I think that's going to be one of the facets that we probably talk about in this whole nourishment conversation.
Absolutely. Because that's certainly going to be one of my tools, is extreme self-care, which has already been fun, and it's only been like a month.
We're only like 2 weeks into the year.
Yeah, I start things early, y'all. My year starts December 7th.
Oh, that's true.
Happy
birthday.
Thanks. So I start on my birthday with my year. I usually have my theme by like October for the next year. And I did not cook for Christmas, nor did I shop. I went to one store for one gift. Turned out to be a gift the child didn't even want. I gotta take it back. But I gave the children cash because that was what they wanted. And I ordered the honey's gift on the internet, and voila, done. Picked up a pre-baked cake from the bakery, and off to the relatives we went. So
how freaking awesome is that?
Extreme self-care to the max. I was not doing things because I had zero desire or interest in doing things other than enjoying my 3 and 5 day holidays.
Oh, see now, and I think that's a really great point that you bring up with the desire is as we start to identify what desire is. Sometimes it's the desire for something, and sometimes it's the desire to not do something, or the desire to, I don't want to say avoid it, but that desire to say no.
We are adventuring already.
Yeah.
So that I'm clear about. I'm not clear yet when the desire is things most of the time, but when I always know what I don't want, as most of us do. So if you don't know what you want, look at what you don't want. It'll give you a very clear idea of what you would like to create. But when it comes to, you know, the holidays, when it came to Christmas, I had zero interest in cooking. So let's go eat whatever the relatives made. But the Southern Belle in me, not this much, wanted to, you bring something when you go to someone's house and they're hosting you. You bring something. I brought cake, 4 kinds, in a container. We have this grocery store that has pudding cakes. And so they slice up the pudding cakes and they put all 4 flavors of the pudding cakes on one platter.
That's kind of cool.
And it's $10. $10 and 4 cakes. And here, y'all, eat it. I'm not taking it home with me. Unless there's lemon cake left, I will take the lemon cake.
Choose your flavor, knock yourself out.
Yes. Clear about my food choices too. Clear about my food desires.
Most of the time, yes. Sometimes my taste buds war with my body, though, on that one. So yeah, the whole concept of nourishment is sort of, I would say, the overarching theme. Well, the overarching theme is that whole healing adventures. So whether it's body, mind, or spirit, because that's what Lila and I do. That's who we are. That's what we're up to, right?
Yes.
That H word.
There will be healing.
Woohoo!
Whether it's from Naomi's magical NLP wand.
I want a wand. Anyway, yes. Or Lila's crazy, somewhat spooky talents when it comes to how it shows up for me is pulling in the powers elsewhere. Mm-hmm.
Yes, reach in the Mary Poppins bag of healing arts and
yeah. Yeah, I've got a wand, you've got a bag. We're traveling companions. And we talked about switching it up, so I'm going to throw this out there because I think we're still planning to do this.
Yeah.
Is about once a quarter, we're going to take this show and expand it, where we're actually going to do a training and a workshop and an opportunity for people to get healings and come. I mean, you're always welcome to log on with us and join in the chat, not just watch the recording later. But I think once a quarter, we talked about doing that and really facilitating rather than simply creating dialogue and shifts and suggestions through this, but to actually have a more of a hands-on. So that will be a new piece to this adventure as well.
Yes, which I'm excited about. Because anytime I get to get nerdy with Naomi is awesome.
Yeah, so fellow nerds, join us. Those of you who are aspiring nerds, join us. Those of you who are like, I'm not a nerd, but I will listen to you nerd out, join us. Those of you who are like, I just want to be in a community of people with positive attitudes who are up to healing, who are up to amazing things, join us.
And a little bit of snark.
Oh, teeny tiny. And occasionally cussing, typically out of my mouth. Yeah. And sometimes out of hers too. She's got the eye roll mastered for sure.
Talk to me. We cuss.
Yeah, so if you prefer a prim and proper presentation, right? Be like, prim and proper, this is not the place to be.
I'm sure you figured that out by now.
Yeah.
So what are going to be your focuses for the year?
Is focus is a word? It is now.
It is in America?
You know, this is Mirko. We can make it a word.
American English is the most flexible language on the planet.
And by flexible, you mean effed up, right?
Weird, bizarre, and anything become a word. Are they foci? Is that what it is?
I think so. I don't know.
Focuses, because
Focuses.
Americans.
Anyhow, back to being focused. You know, I keep going back to the self-care. I'm not committing to that being my theme for the year. I have found myself this year very much, what's the word? Grounded and entrenched are the two words that come up in the energy of winter. That
Okay.
deep, contemplative quiet, and it doesn't feel like it has emerged for me yet what the full theme will be. I'm guessing within about the next month, it will start getting much more clear. So for right now, I am putting my focus on the self-care side, on the things that we talked about, because the extreme self-care, which includes the where am I saying yes that a no would serve me better, that's really my focus with everything that I'm doing right now.
And I'm glad that you reminded me of that. The reason that we themed the calls this way this year is to allow for the evolution of our growth. Because while focusing on asking for the last 2 years has been like intense for me, because I really wanted to stretch my receiving muscles by being willing to ask. I had so much resistance to asking that I wasn't allowing myself to receive. So that has something to do with the switch up in my financial situation too. I guess I can't give the honey all of the credit. But, and for those of you who are new, or maybe just you are not new, but you weren't aware before, I went from essentially living on my tax refund and food stamps to having a little bit of a cushion, which is nice. And it's been 18 months since things have gotten solid. Really, it's been about a year.
I'm going to say not just a cushion, because I know you well. I'm going to call you out on that. Not just a cushion, but you are giving, which that was kind of where you started with a lot of it, was the tithing and the giving. So you're not just building a cushion where it's like, oh, thank God, now I have a little bit of a cushion. You've got a cushion, and you are giving back, giving out, you're spreading the love and the wealth. So that little bit of cushion might be a bigger cushion than you're giving yourself credit for, maybe.
I am at the point where I could quit my job and still pay my half of the rent for like the next 3 months without bringing in any further income. But I also have clients, which are multiplying, multiplying clients. And I am able to, okay, so I think the tithing is part of it. And we can talk more about this in detail in the future, but my unique perspective on tithing is from Edwene Gaines, who is one of my spiritual teachers. She's a Unity minister. Look her up, watch her on YouTube. She is Southern and hilarious. But her definition of tithing is giving 1/10 of everything that comes in to the person, place, or institution from which you get your spiritual food. So, for instance, if Naomi says something magically delicious and amazing, and I am like, oh my God, the clouds have parted, the heavens have opened up, I feel like a normal person again, which is usually what happens after I talk to Naomi. I also usually start out going, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, help. Or I'm in some version of the crazy place. Then I will probably send her a percentage, and I haven't gotten back to 10% yet. I'm at like 5 now. I started at 1% because I was working my way up. But if I were at 10%, I would send her 10% of whatever came in. So let's say I haven't tithed yet. There's a tithe hanging out waiting to be sent to the next time I get some spiritual food. Off to Naomi it goes. Or off to someone else it goes. Or if I find myself in church, into the collection plate it goes, if the sermon soothes my soul. If it doesn't, stays in my pocket. So that is part of my consistent manifesting process, to be honest. That and my 10% fund, which I've talked about in the past. So go back there and find a video.
Right.
Maybe I'll link to it somewhere below. Yeah.
Well, and I think that it fits into that nourishment conversation and the self-care, because you have shown that the self-care, because like you said, it's been a 1 year to 18 months, 12 to 18 month process for you of healing work and that willingness to ask. And so as you started the whole call with, it's not that you're going to stop asking. This is an opportunity to deepen the ask. And sometimes that deepening that ask is, what are we asking of ourselves? That's the nourishment conversation of it too, I think. So there's going to be a lot of different things that come up this year, topic-wise. Like Lila said, we're giving ourselves the space for it to evolve. Extreme self-care was a really big thing that we talked about when we talked about what's next for both of us. So I'm sure that will be a part of the conversation, especially initially.
Absolutely. During the winter, which Naomi doesn't have over there in California. She just thinks she has winter.
She does think she has winter. And yes, my feet are cold, and given hormones usually have them running hot, I'm kind of happy about it. But
9 inches of snow.
What? Huh?
9 inches. I think we had 9 inches.
Well, we were supposed to have mudslides because of the rain.
I'm glad you didn't slide down a hill.
Right? No, I couldn't go sledding. Yeah, when Lisa was like, we're going tobogganing, you're doing, huh?
Or that a hill didn't slide down you.
And a hill didn't slide down here. That is true. Yeah, we've had a couple of nights where it's gotten below 40, but I know for some areas of the country that you're like 40, that's balmy. So it's relative.
Roll your eyes at her. It's okay.
They've only closed one border to California. Y'all can get your butts here.
True statement. Do you have anything that you'll be focused on for the next week?
One of the things I'm working on is the balancing, now that I'm getting up before dark 30. I was thinking I wanted to join the 5 o'clock club. For those of you who don't know what that is, you get up at 5 o'clock and you do whatever it is you do, whether you're doing prayer and meditation and reading, or whether it's you dive into work, or whatever it is you do at 5 o'clock, so that you are really done with the major, the one thing, whatever it is, the biggest stuff on your list, or the biggest thing on your list before like 9 or 10 in the morning. And so that the rest of the things that you do, you've gotten what you really wanted to get accomplished done. And certain people, Lila and Lisa, they do their prayer call it's 4:15 in the morning my time. And I've made a commitment to at least do it through January. After that, I may go to 1 day a week, but my body's starting to get accustomed to it. So for me, it's that extreme self-care of getting enough sleep around that, because that's a big adjustment to my schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that the days I go back to sleep, I feel a lot more groggy than when I do wake up. So I think for me this week, that extreme self-care is, what rest does my body need to really be optimal right now?
Ditto. Sleep and I. We're like weird friends, which we have to talk about after this. Naomi's my own personal coach in a bottle, coach in my pocket.
Your seasonal guide.
Seasonal guide, yes. And my shrooms dealer.
Not again.
The FDA is going to talk to us for no reason. They're going to come search my cabinets and all they're going to find are the bottles of medicinal mushrooms. It's going to be great.
I was going to say, I'm just going to sell them some liver cleanse because chances are they're a little backed up if it's the government. Got some anger.
They're going to need, I was going to say, they're going to need some liver support. It'll be great.
Yep.
I got distracted and have no idea.
Self-care and sleep, and I'm your coach in a bottle. Mm-hmm.
Sleep and I must be reacquainted because I am still on holiday time when we were getting up at a little bit later than dark 30. And I'm not quite recovered on the sleep front from that yet.
So is our adventure, is it safe to say that our adventure in asking, we're going to start with a focus on, because I know we talked kind of two main areas. One was the extreme self-care and one was the saying yes and saying no. And both are deep, longer conversations that I think will unfold over time, but is there a place where we want to start? You feel called for one versus the other?
I feel like the yes and no conversation is going to be pretty ongoing.
Okay.
And kind of I had an opportunity to say no this week or whatever. Hi, babe. The extreme self-care, I think we'll start there.
Okay.
And I'm in it right now with this 30 days of yoga.
Ooh, yeah.
Which feels less, this is going to be interesting. So this feels less like self-care, which sounds weird because it's yoga. As I was like sorting it out, my theme sort of broke itself down into 4 areas. Mm-hmm. So there's adding more sweetness to my life. There's adding more connection because I've been craving sugar. Sweetness, more connection, and then power, which is kind of always around, and I don't remember that 4th one very clearly at the moment, but yoga fell into the power category, and I am almost halfway through a 30-day adventure. Mm-hmm. And all I want to do is quit.
Ooh. So using the theme of nourishment and self-care, what serves you better, saying yes to your commitment and sticking it out, or saying yes to stopping?
Saying yes to the commitment serves me better in a lot of arenas.
Okay.
All I want to do is quit because quitting is easy and comfortable.
Okay. So if I heard you right, the yoga isn't feeling like nourishment right now.
It's not feeling like nourishment, it's feeling like power.
Okay.
Which is why I probed deeper.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, what is this?
Right.
It's yoga. It's supposed to be nourishing. Not this one. Not at this moment. Not this experience. Because I haven't consistently moved my body in enough years that all of the muscles are sore.
Okay. So what can you do or add that doesn't mean that you won't still be sore, doesn't mean that you won't still have the same physical experience because of that, because that just is what it is till you hit a certain point.
Yeah.
Coming from the former personal trainer, sorry, there's no quick way through that. Um, but what can you do or add to create more of a feeling and experience of nourishment with it or alongside it?
So the hot oil massages, I'll like clarify this. The hot oil massages are like self massages done with warm sesame oil before a bath or a shower. So being diligent about those. Wintergreen essential oil is my body's friend right now. And so is the magnesium spray that I have, and sleep.
Awesome.
So, for instance, yesterday I said no to making dinner. I ordered the children pizza, which probably isn't the healthiest option, but it was healthy for mom's sanity. And I went to work after work. So, I had like 6 hours of sales calls. I was done. I like got in my bed and was like, I'm ordering dinner. Because I then had a 4-hour shift at the day job ahead of me. So there was no cooking at that point. I think I didn't even manage to unload the dishwasher. Oh no, I did. I unloaded it, I reloaded it, and then I was done. So the nourishment component is supporting the yoga piece, but I still feel like I also need in-house massages. Get a massage therapist to come to me, give me a massage so I can just go to sleep afterwards.
I know some, but I don't think they travel quite that far.
Yeah, that's probably not my budget at the moment.
I know. Is there anything you need to do to change up your practice? I realize you're following someone's online practice, so it wouldn't be changing the actual doing of the practice, but is there something you need to change about the practice or your thoughts around the practice to make it more nourishing?
That's a good question that I'll play with.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've been giving myself permission to go into child's pose when she talks too much. She talks a lot. I love Adrian. She talks a lot. Coming from the girl who talks a lot, she talks a lot.
I used to talk a lot when I taught classes too, so. And I think online I probably would even more.
Yeah. But like, can we talk while we move through the vinyasas? Asanas?
Well, I taught Iyengar versus a flow, so I didn't too often have them going through flow. And because Iyengar is so based in, is your posture right? And is your stance correct? I was up moving and correcting people's posturing and positioning and whatnot often.
Yeah.
So
she does a lot of explaining, which is great. But can you explain when I'm not like this? Because
right now I can't really look and see what the hell you're doing because I'm over here. Yeah.
But in any event, I've now held this for 14 extra breaths while you were giving explanation. And now you want to go for five breaths, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm in child's pose.
So that really is like you're doing, almost like you are doing an Iyengar practice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It's awesome for my muscles who are like, oh, we're getting stronger. Like I can actually see that my thighs are smaller. Neat. And I have one of those bodies. Be mad at me. It's okay. I'd be mad at me too. I saw the eye roll. We won't talk about it. But anyway, so yeah, when she's explaining too much, I go into child's pose and I just hang out there and I'm okay with it, which is a huge switch from the past where I would have insisted that I'm going to hold this pose because she talks too much.
Talks too much and I'm in child's.
Yes.
Every good teacher will tell you too, it's one thing if you get tired and you need to breathe through it. We all know the difference between that and I need to stop this pose.
Yes.
And when you need to stop that pose, we all tell you, go into child's pose or go into mountain, stand your ass up or get down on the mat and curl up in that little ball, whichever serves you best. So by doing that, is that bringing enough nourishment into the practice for you?
Um, no, it's helping me survive it.
So yeah, play with
Yeah.
that this week and see what comes up for you as far as what else could I be doing to shift it up, switch it up, bring alongside it to bring the nourishment into it while the powering part exists.
Yeah. So there's something to the commitment piece. This experience has really helped me decide those other 4 areas. I think nourishment might be the 4th area. So it might be nourishment, power, sweetness, and connection, all under that broad overarching theme of Ananda. But yeah.
One of the things that came up for me too, as you were saying all of that, is, and also look at what are your expectations of a yoga practice?
That I'm consistent.
Anything else?
Maybe.
Play with that this week too. I would encourage you to play with that this week.
Naomi's got her healer mom face on. Anything else?
I love it. You're cracking me up from an NLP standpoint. You keep doing, yes, is there anything else? So, okay. Yes, I really love my yoga practice. Wait, what? No, I really do love it.
I am very proud of my commitment.
Yeah. Huge celebration with that.
That's all I got right now.
where can we honor those things we say yes to?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
That, and then the Fitbit cusses at me. Get up and move. Shut up.
I got cussing going on in my head. I don't need something on my wrist to be cussing at me too. Lordy.
Okay, we are at time. I'm going to add more nourishment to my yoga practice this week.
Sweet.
You are going to
remind me how to balance the sleeping.
So you're going to get more sleep.
Enough of it, or or enough solid, and see what that needs to look like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week.